Today, we'll be showing you how to remove and replace the heater assembly on this LG electric dryer. Be sure to visit ApplianceVideo.com, where you will find thousands of repair videos on the latest technology. And for a limited time, you can save big on an annual membership and take advantage of all of our premium benefits. ApplianceVideo.com. Do it right the first time. Stop. Before beginning any repair, always be sure to disconnect the power to the appliance. It is also recommended to test the outlet for the proper voltage. You will need the following tools to complete this repair. To access the machine, we must first remove the top panel. It's held on by 3 Phillips screws on the bottom lip here. Once you have these taken off, grab the little front slider and pull it in. Start to wiggle the top off and set it to the side. Now that we have the top panel removed, in order to go further in this dryer, we will have to remove the front here. Now, in order to do so, there's a couple screws that will have to be removed. There are 2 Phillips machine thread screws on the bottom. There are 2 at the top. Now, normally these are covered with this sticker. You'll have to use something, pop it off, and just kind of set it below. Remove the 2 Phillips screws. We'll go ahead and close the door. When removing the ones at the top, it is held on by these little clips here, but make sure you put your leg or something against the front when you're removing the 2 top screws. Now, next, to pull the front forward, it is clipped in. Use a tack puller or a flat blade screwdriver, go below, press up, and let it drop down. Inside, we have a door switch. Remove this Molex, followed by a Molex for your UI. Use something to press in on the locking tab, separate it, lift up on the front, and set it to the side. Next, we'll have to remove the top bracket here. The first thing you'll want to do is push this Molex back inside. You can do that by pressing on the tabs that are on the top and the bottom with a small screwdriver and pushing it in. Next, we have 2 Phillips screws on the front. It is held on the front. It's got kind of like a slotted area with a hook on the sides, so you have to lift up and pull out, slide it down, and set it to the side. Now that we have the top bracket removed, the next thing we'll need to remove is the bulkhead. To start, you will have to remove any strain relievers. This one right here is broken. On this one here, we're going to go to the back side, pinch it with some pliers, and pull it out. Separate our Molex for our LED lamp. And just bring the wiring over to the side. We do have 4 Phillips screws that will have to be removed. Followed by your Molex on the bottom. You'll just pinch and separate. Lift up on your front bulkhead and start to pull out. Same on this side. Lift up, pull out, wiggle it free, and set your bulkhead to the side. Now that we have the front bulkhead removed, next we can remove the drum. It is held on with your belt, of course. So the first thing I want to do is put our hands inside, You will feel the idler pulley here. It has a spring on the bottom. You will press up on the idler pulley, going to the outer wall. Remove the belt from the motor pulley. Let it drop down. Gently let your idler drop down so you do not damage it. Pull up on the belt. We're going to start to wiggle out the drum. And set your drum to the side. Now that we have the drum out, we have clear access to our heater box assembly here. The main reasons why you'd be coming toward your heater box would be two things. If the unit is not heating, or it may be overheating. Now, if the unit is not heating, there's a couple of things that can cause it. First thing would be your thermal fuse. You can test this for continuity to make sure that this is okay. If this is all right, the next thing you'll want to test is your heating element. To test your heating element, you'll take all of the terminals off, and what you'll do is you'll check with a voltmeter and you'll check for ohms between any combination of terminals, and you should have continuity between it. Now this is for it not heating. If for some reason one of these is open at all and does not have continuity, the heater will have to be replaced. Now if it is overheating, what you can do is test each one of these terminals to ground, and that would be the casing here. And basically why you would do that is if the heater coil breaks and droops down and it's touching metal, it's causing it to short out and it'll keep the heater on all the time. If either of these things happen to this heater box, it will have to be replaced. Now to start, we will remove all of the terminals off of the heater box assembly. That includes the thermostat and thermal fuse. There are two screws holding on the actual casing. Once we remove these, you'll lift up, kind of pull it down. It's hooked in the back, and set it to the side. When installing your new heater box, first we have to put it in that slot in the back. So we'll line it up, kind of pull it to the side there and get it locked in place. Next, drop it in on the actual bracket here. I'll go ahead and get these screws started, since we have to bend it at the same time just to get it to line up. Once they're in, let's tighten them up. Now, let's go ahead and reinstall our wiring. Do the same to the terminals in the back. And your thermostat, the white wires go on this side. So we will install these first, followed by our red wire in the back. Now we can reinstall the drum. When reinstalling your drum, the first thing you'll want to do is make sure you have a belt on the middle of it in order to hold it. Next, you may need to move the wiring out of the way and start to flex the sides to put the drum in. We will get it lined up to the back. I want you to put some force in the front and give it a turn so that it falls on the actual wheels. Lift up on the drum and start to move your belt toward the middle of the drum so that we can reinstall it. Once you have it around the middle, reach inside. And what we'll do here is we have your idler pulley. You will gently lift up. Now there are two sides of the belt. You have a flat side and a ribbed side. The flat side will go against the idler wheel. The ribbed side will go around the motor pulley. Put it here, let it rest on the idler gently. Now we can reinstall the front bulkhead. When reinstalling your front bulkhead, we'll bring it in. First, the lip of it will fit on the front of the drum. You may have to move it around. And what I want you to do is to bring this up and slide your two top pieces in first. Once you get these in, give the drum a spin. This will cause the bulkhead to draw in on the rollers. You will have to lift up again on each side to get the other portions of the bracket in. We're in. Next, go around and reinstall your Phillips screws. Plug back in our harness on the bottom. Bring around and reinstall your strain relievers and reinstall the Molex for your LED. Now we can reinstall the top bracket. When reinstalling your top plate, first we will push the door lock harness through the smaller slotted area. Bring it into place. Make sure your hook goes into the slot on the frame and slide down. Do the same on the opposite side. Reinstall our 2 Phillips screws. We will push back in the Molex. The side of the Molex, one side is larger, so it can only go in one way. Push in, hear the click. Now we can reinstall the front. When reinstalling the front, there are 2 lips on the very bottom that you will slide the front on. Once you get it in place, reinstall your door switch wiring, followed by your front wiring. Bring it in and clip it in. We will reinstall the 2 screws on the top. Now on the front, if you remember correctly, we have 2 regular Phillips on the front top. Followed by the 2 machine screws on the bottom. Close the door, and now we can reinstall the top. When reinstalling your top, I always like to put my hand on the slider because the bottom is really sharp. We'll drop it in and line it up. It can only fit on one way. Grab the front and the back and make sure you apply pressure so that it is slipped in. There we go. Now we will reinstall the 3 screws on the back. And this will complete your repair. Thank you for watching another quality video from ApplianceVideo.com. If you found this video helpful, make sure you click the like and subscribe to our channel.